Red Bull's Sergio Perez has closed out the season with a formal warning after he insulted the stewards on team radio. Checo called the stewards a joke after they gave him a 5-second time penalty for forcing McLaren's Lando Norris off track during a pass on lap 47. But saw them after the race, where he made a genuine and sincere apology to each of the stewards and explained that he made the comments in the heat of the moment and did not consider the fact that they would be broadcast and the impact of that. He expressed his regret that his comments caused offense to anyone or harm to the sport. Incredibly, all teams were summoned before the stewards at the season finale in Abu Dhabi, after reports were received that mechanics were not protecting their eyes sufficiently during pit stops. The stewards reviewed video evidence gained at Yas Marina Circuit that showed numerous examples of eye protection not being used, despite it not being clear enough to see beyond an open visor. However, in its post-race decision, the stewards decided not to hand out penalties, but stated, "The safety of team members is paramount. All teams are requested to stress the importance of eye protection for all personnel working on a car and ensure that this article is respected by all team members in the future." Williams' Chief Technical Officer Pat Fry says his former team Alpine didn't have the enthusiasm or drive to move forward beyond 4th place in the constructors' standings. Fry joined the French squad in 2020. But while he said he and the team made dramatic improvements at Enstone in the ensuing 3 years, the will from parent Renault to step up from 4th just wasn't there, which ultimately forced his hand to leave the squad. "I think as a company, they weren't almost set up to push hard enough. You can say you want to be first, but the difference between saying it and achieving it is monumental, as we all know," he said. Fry subsequently joined Williams from November, which he says has the required ambition to rise up the ranks. McLaren will remain a customer squad until at least 2030, with the team extending its partnership with current supplier Mercedes through into the sport's next era that begins in 2026. McLaren has been powered by Mercedes since 2021, but won its last F1 World titles with the luxury German automotive brand during its previous long-term supply deal from 1995 to 2014. But while a customer contract may not seem like the path to domination, McLaren Racing CEO Zak Brown has faith in Brixworth. The extension signifies the confidence that our shareholders and the wider team have in their powertrains, and the direction we're taking with them into the new era of regulations ahead, he said. Red Bull boss Christian Horner has revealed that he held talks earlier this year with Sir Lewis Hamilton about a future drive, though the 7-time F1 world champion said the squad reached out, not him. Hamilton signed a new 2-year deal with Mercedes in September, which will take him right through to the end of the 2025 season. But the contract was a long time in the making, and Horner says that the 38-year-old was shopping around F1's other top teams, and even lifted the lid on Hamilton's chats with Ferrari's top brass. It was around Monaco. There were definitely conversations, perhaps with Vasseur too, but certainly with Elkan, he said. Outgoing AlphaTauri team principal Franz Tost has taken a parting shot at Yuki Tsunoda, who he says needs to work a little bit harder if he's to become a top driver, as he takes it a little bit easy. Tsunoda joined AlphaTauri in 2021 and has been fast but erratic across his 3 seasons, with fiery outbursts over team radio. Tost, though, told official podcast Beyond the Grid that the Japanese pilot needs to up his development in all areas next season, but especially technical knowledge, nutrition, and physical training.
Yuki is, from the natural speed, really a top driver, I must say. But he has to become even more disciplined and must work a little bit harder. He takes it a little bit too easy.
Team bosses Frederick Vasseur and Toto Wolff were handed formal warnings by the FIA stewards in Abu Dhabi for the unacceptable language they used during an official press conference in Las Vegas. The pair didn't hold back with their frustrations following the water valve cover incident in opening practice, with Ferrari's Vasseur upset about the damage to Carlos Sainz's car and Mercedes' Wolff upset with the press for focusing on the issue. Vasseur and Wolff were then hauled before the stewards in the aftermath of the event, citing a breach of the International Sporting Code pertaining to bringing the FIA into disrepute. The stewards said in their report that the FIA regards language of this type to be unacceptable moving forward, particularly when used by participants in the sport who have a high public profile and who are seen by many, especially younger followers of the sport, as role models. Pato O'Ward will join McLaren's pool of F1 reserve drivers for 2024, with the Mexican in Abu Dhabi for his FP1 duties and post-season test. O'Ward first joined McLaren in 2020 as the squad's IndyCar driver, with 4 wins in the series, all in papaya suits, his last at 2022's Iowa 300. But the 24-year-old has deep F1 aspirations, having completed 2021's postseason test and runs in historic machinery to get up to speed. O'Ward now takes a step up, following the squad's legal action with Alex Palou, the IndyCar multi-champion who took an about turn on his contract and re-signed with Chip Ganassi. O'Ward replaced Lando Norris in Abu Dhabi FP1 and finished the session 15th fastest overall, 9 places and almost half a second behind the squad's regular driver Oscar Piastri. Mick Schumacher's 2024 plans have been locked in, with the German to dovetail his Mercedes F1 reserve role with an endurance drive for Alpine, with the French marque set to take a hypercar into the World Endurance Championship. Schumacher was one of 6 drivers named last week for Alpine's program, along with Nicolas Lapierre, Mathieu Vaxivier, Charles Malesi, Paul-Loup Chatin, and Ferdinand Habsburg. Schumi tested Alpine's A424 hypercar at Spanish circuit Jerez last month, with the brand's motorsport vice president Bruno Famin impressed by the 24-year-old's enthusiasm for the project. Alpine will officially launch its WEC program on February 7th, 2024. Sauber said goodbye to Alfa Romeo in Abu Dhabi, but the Swiss squad has confirmed it won't be rebranded as Audi until 2026. Sauber will ramp up its work squad preparations next year and in 2025, building to the manufacturer status it last had with BMW from 2006 up to 2009. But the Hinwil outfit will return to its roots during that time, with plans for no part of the Audi identity to be seen on the car until the luxury German marque officially joins in 2026. Commercially speaking, it is important to have a big bang in 2026, not to dilute the Audi involvement with the team. So we will continue as Sauber based on the heritage of the group, said team representative Alessandro Aluni Bravi. 2016 F1 World Champion Nico Rosberg says there's a chance his former teammate Sir Lewis Hamilton will fight for the championship next season. Mercedes failed to win a Grand Prix in 2023, with George Russell last on the podium's top step in Brazil 2022, and Hamilton's last victory dating back to 2021's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. But while Mercedes has since dropped its disastrous zero-pod concept, Rosberg says that the squad is beginning to understand its car and just needs to work on consistency and straight-line speed. I believe in Mercedes' ability because I was there. I know how strong they are. It's always still the same people, he said. So certainly there is a chance that Hamilton could once again fight for the championship next year. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.